All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about strategic networking. And networking is not going to an event, finding one person who's going to do business with you. If you are gauging the success of your networking on that model, you will probably be disappointed the majority of times. I want you to think about that, because if I walk into an event and let's say there's 15 people there or 30 people there or 5 people there, and I'm just looking for a person there who can do business with me, those chances are pretty low. You know, let's use an example. If you're a realtor and you walk in and there's 10 people there and nobody currently is looking to purchase or sell a home, you might wrongly think that wasn't a great networking event. I didn't get anything from that. Well, that is not what networking is. You hear me say all the time, networking is reciprocal. By definition, it is reciprocal. Both parties benefit, right? So we can never walk into a networking event just thinking, hey, what am I going to get from here? We are building our community. Community counts. Community is the new currency. You want to build that community. Likewise, let's say I'm a financial planner and I walk in and those 10 people aren't currently open or wanting to find a financial planner right now. Now, maybe you luck out. Maybe you walk in and one of those people just got married and she's like, oh yeah, we need to sit down and work with a financial planner. But again, if that is the gauge that you're using on the success of your networking, more times than not, you will be disappointed. So I want to kind of do a little bit of a mind shift on how you're building your community. When I walk into an event and there's 10 people there, I'm not looking at, oh, these are 10 people I can do business with. I'm looking at, here's 10 people who each have access to about 100 people. Now, why do I say 100? Well, the average wedding in the United States mails out 150 invitations. So these are 150 family, friends, more than acquaintances. Like the average person probably has 500 acquaintances, but I'm talking about like people they would invite to their wedding. So if the average wedding has 150, then the average person has at least 100 people that they could introduce me to. Okay. And I like using 100 because it's a round number, so I can do the math easy in my head. All right. So if I walk in and there's 10 people there, that means that is 1,000 people, 10 times 100, 1,000 people that I am in front of, because it's that one person who has access to 100 people. So what do I want to do with that one person? I want to build a relationship. I want that person to know me, like me, trust me enough that they would feel comfortable enough referring me to their circle of influence. I want that person to know who I am outside of just my job title and what I do in my business. I want to have a relationship. I want that person, when they're out and they're having dinner with some friends and something comes up, they go, oh, I got a friend, Tara. She would be great for you to talk to. That is very different when you say, oh, I have a friend, Tara. She'd be great for that, versus, you know, I met this girl at my chamber and she does da 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 da. Or I met this girl at a networking event and she does da 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 da. That's a whole different kind of referral. So I'm looking to build relationships. Well, how do we build relationships? We get to know people. Number one, we need to get into their space over and over and over again. We can't just show up to an event once and think they're going to know, like, and trust me. No, I need to be in their space multiple times to build a relationship. I need to be invested in getting to know them and what's important to them. I'm also looking for, what do we have in common? We know that people who have things in common, there's a level of trust that's developed quickly. And so what do we have in common? Where do we connect? Where are we alike? What's similar in our life? Maybe we're both single parents, or maybe we're both parents, or maybe we both grew up in the same area, or maybe we both love German Shepherds. What is our connection? I want to be invested in that relationship, and I want that person to get to know me outside of my job title or my business. Who am I? And again, this is vitally important, because I am not my job title, and I am not a product, and I am not my business. Even if you own your own business, there's still a person behind that. And we like to do business with people, not companies. We like to do that. And this is why, think about this. This is why companies invest a lot of money in developing their story, the why they exist behind the product, because we care about the people. And I'll give you a great example. I have never eaten in that fast food restaurant, the Panda Express. I kind of think of it as fast food. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to eat that. That's not healthy. Panda Express. Well, we were on a road trip and I was driving. I was not driving. The other person was driving, and we passed a Panda Express, and I thought, how do you know much about Panda Express? I don't really see those out here where I live. I used to see them a lot where I used to live, but I don't see them anymore. I was like, I wonder what the deal is with Panda Express, sitting on a road trip for hours and hours. I'm going to Google them. Well, I go to their website and I read their story. A husband and wife who immigrated here, who started a little restaurant in their town. And that one little restaurant to bring, Chinese food, their culture into their community. And then they opened in a little mall. And that opening in the little mall eventually what built their franchise. And it really, truly is the American dream story of this family that wanted to share their culture, their love of food with their community, and then built a huge franchise that went global. And they show pictures of the husband and the wife and the family, and they tell their story and how they gave back to their community and the causes that were important to them, and how they, have a health initiative. Who knew they had a health initiative with their chain? And all of a sudden, I wanted to eat Panda Express. I was like committed because I loved their story. I loved the people behind the brand. And that's what we want our people to be with us. We want the people around us to love us, the person behind your brand. So I want you to think, when you walk into a networking event and there's 10 people there, you have 1,000 people potentially that you could connect with. But it's the relationship, it's the commitment, it's the investment in the person that you're standing in front of and getting to know them and building a relationship. That is what is going to build your community.